The Lakers were really bad last year. What can the Lakers do with the remainder of this offseason going into the 2022 to 2023 regular season to get back to the playoffs at the very least? And obviously with LeBron James still in his prime, it seems, and Anthony Davis still his dynamic duo partner, this team's going to want to contend for a championship. So what can they do to make that a reality? Let's start with this team's current personnel, or personnel that's returning from last season. Of course, we have the quote-unquote big three of LeBron, AD, and Russell Westbrook. And then Talen Horton-Tucker still got 2 years on his contract. Kendrick Nunn opted into his player option. Austin Reeves is in his second year of like some type of minimal salary contract. Stanley Johnson has 1 more year, and Wenyen Gabriel, I believe the team picked up a team option on. So that's the bunch that's returning or still on roster from last season under contract. A lot is missing in terms of shooting. I know Austin Reeves is white, and he hit that one game winner to win a game for the Lakers in the regular season that got everybody hyped, but he's not a consistent knockdown three-point shooter. We know about Russell Westbrook's struggles from three. Talen Horton-Tucker really regressed from downtown and outside just in general. Then Stanley Johnson and Wenyen Gabriel are athletes that are going to be left open for corner threes by defenses because that's the type of shots that they're willing to give up when they face the Lakers. And Kendrick Nunn is more of a playmaking, slashing point guard. And of course, LeBron James is LeBron James. He's the best three-point shooter here, but he's never really been known as a three-point specialist. So yeah, that's a problem, and that needs to be a focal point for the Lakers in the offseason. Looking to the draft, they kind of addressed that with Max Christie, who was a hyped-up prospect going into his one and only year at Michigan State, though he kind of left a bit to be desired. But even though his shooting percentage wasn't the best from downtown, I don't think that is exactly reflective of how good of a three-point shooter he really is. So I think that was a pretty decent draft pick for the Lakers. We'll see what he can do in the the Summer League, and if he'll have any impact on the Lakers in the actual regular season. But fast forwarding to free agency, the Lakers have quietly been active. They added Troy Brown Jr., Juan Toscano Anderson, Lonnie Walker IV, Thomas Bryant, and Damian Jones. Now starting out with the centers, Damian Jones had a really good year for the Kings. I talked about how I thought the Kings should bring him back, but they obviously opted to not do that. But he had a really good year for the Kings. He's a very active rim running guy, active rim protector as well. The Lakers really needed to get younger at the center position and just have more center depth because, AD at the center position raises some concerns in terms of durability for him. So I thought that was a solid pickup. And then the bigger pickup, or the bigger, more attractive pickup at the center position, is Thomas Bryant. He's not a rim runner, he is a rim runner, but he's not as athletic or dynamic of a finisher or shot blocker as Damian Jones, but he provides a lot of impact on the offensive side because of his ability and potential to shoot from outside from the 5 position. 2 years ago, Thomas Bryant shot 43% from three-point land in 10 games with the Wizards. And then this most recent season, he came back late due to injury and wasn't as impactful from downtown, but I'm not going to hold that against him. I think he still has the ability and potential to be a really great stretch 5 in the league, and hopefully he can provide that for the Lakers. Now, he very well could be the starting 5 for the Lakers playing next to AD, because I don't think they're going to want to play AD at the 5, so he'll provide a good dynamic for the Lakers if he's able to regain his outside shot that he had 2 to 3 years ago with the Wizards. As for the JTA pickup, this is actually something I wanted the Lakers to do, and I said such in my offseason outlook for them. Probably the best dynamic, versatile, athletic wing that the Lakers could get in terms of defensively. JTA competes his ass off on the defensive end. He can guard pretty much 2 through 4. Sometimes he played some small ball 5 for the Warriors. 3-point shot is a bit streaky, but when it's on, I think he shot high 30s, maybe even 40% from 3 for the Warriors 1 year, and then it dipped down to 33%. But he has potential for being a knockdown shooter in the corner, of course. But the main draw of JTA is his versatility on the defensive end. The Lakers really needed a young, versatile, rangy defensive wing, and picking up JTA, who now has championship experience. I think that's a really solid pickup for the Lakers. The last two guys to talk about are Troy Brown and Lonnie Walker. Troy Brown's only 22 years old, and in his second year with Washington, he was really showcasing a lot of potential as a good playmaking, slashing, defensive two-guard or small forward. And then when he was shipped to Chicago, he didn't really get that much consistent playing time, and I don't think he was able to showcase his full skill set. I think he has a lot of high upside on the defensive end, and the Lakers are going to need more defense. So I'm going to be looking forward to him providing an impact on the defensive end, but where he's going to have to continue to improve his game to get more minutes for the Lakers, it's going to have to be that three-point shot. He's shot 35-36% from outside last season with Chicago. I don't know if that's going to be good enough to cut it for the Lakers to get consistent minutes, because the Lakers are going to need knockdown shooters if they're going to stick with their current big three, especially having Russell Westbrook. As for Lonnie Walker, he's always been somebody with tremendous offensive potential. He kind of had his breakout season for San Antonio 2 years ago. He's an aggressive type of microwave type of scorer. He's got an inside-outside game, really confident in his ability to create from outside, though his efficiency did dip quite a bit from three-point land this most recent year with San Antonio. Coming to LA, his role will diminish quite a bit, so in saying that, hopefully his efficiency will rise, he'll get more catch-and-shoot opportunities generated for him. In his second year with San Antonio, he shot 40% from three. In his first year with San Antonio, he shot 38%, so the potential as a shooter is definitely there. If he's able to provide that and catch and shoot opportunities for the Lakers, that can provide a lot of minutes for him, kind of similar to the role Ben McLemore played for the Lakers 2 years ago and the role that Malik Monk played for the Lakers this most recent year. Hopefully Lonnie Walker can step into those shoes. The Lakers still do need more shooting. It just, it is what it is. The Lakers need more shooting to surround LeBron, Russ, and AD. Most of the shooters are pretty much gone already. Melo would be dope, but I don't know if Melo wants to return. He played with LeBron. That was something he wanted to do before his career was over. He did it now. What's next for him? It's not like he's really ring chasing. I think he said he's never gonna ring chase. He just wants to continue to ball out and provide a lot of high level playing time for a team wherever that is. And shit, man, for a minimum contract, I'd want Melo back in a heartbeat, but I don't know if he wants to return to LA. I don't really know what other shooters are available for the Lakers anymore. I feel like a lot of them have been poached off the market. Somehow their front office is going to have to get creative there. They do need some wing defenders. I don't know how impactful JTA is going to be, even though I love his effort on the defensive end. Is his impact going to be enough to carry the Lakers' defense? Fuck no. But like I said, at this point in free agency, I don't really know who's left. Wing defense and three-point shooting. These are the things that are most sought after in free agency. And at this point, the top tier guys in those categories are gone. So with that being said, what can the Lakers do in the trade market? There are really only 6 teams that you can say are definitely rebuilding or selling as high as possible on their veterans and quote-unquote star players. In the West, it's San Antonio, Houston, and OKC. Out of those teams, none of them have any more win now veterans. They've all either been traded already or signed in free agency because their team didn't want to bring them back. Out East, it's Detroit, Orlando, and Indiana. Now, Detroit already traded Jeremy Grant. Orlando, I would have loved to have Gary Harris with the Lakers. That pickup would have been brilliant, I think. A prototypical 3-and-D 2-guard. But the Magic did indeed re-sign him for 2 years. And then that leaves Indiana, who just traded their best player in Malcolm Brogdon to the Celtics. And there's now 2 more win-now veterans on that team that I think the Pacers are going to want to trade in Miles Turner and Buddy Hield. If the Lakers were able to pick up Miles Turner and have him be the starting center, with Thomas Bryant being a bench center, a 4-5 dynamic of AD and Miles Turner, that would do wonders for the defense. And If Miles Turner can shoot from outside to the capability that we know he has, that just checks all the boxes of what the Lakers are looking for. Shooting and defense. I don't know how viable or how easy it will be for the Lakers to trade for Miles Turner though. He's making $18 million per year, and in order to match that money, the Lakers would have to throw Talen Horton-Tucker up there with none. I think that's around $16 million, which is enough to make a trade legal. I think that hits the threshold. I don't know if that package is enticing enough for the Pacers, who are probably going to have a lot of suitors for Miles Turner because he's a rim protecting stretch 5. The Lakers will probably have to throw in one first round pick if they have any left. I mean, the Timberwolves threw in a 2029 first round pick. I didn't even know that was legal. That shit's like 6 years in advance. So the Lakers definitely have their picks in 2029. I think 2028. They should have their first round picks there. So if they wanted to throw in a protected one in 2029 or even 2030, I think that could make a viable trade package for Miles Turner. The other guy is Buddy Hield, who I think is making a bit more money than Miles Turner, maybe like a couple mil more. So they probably have to throw in either Stanley Johnson or Wenyen Gabriel to make the money work out. But that would be another top tier pickup, because Buddy Hield is one of the best 3-point shooters in our league currently. Buddy Hield to the Lakers has been talked about for the past like 5 years, I feel like, and if there ever was a time for it to happen, it would be now. Like I said, there's only 6 teams that are rebuilding in the league, like definitively, and the Pacers are the only team that really have win-now veterans for contending teams to seek. Now finally, to talk about some on-court stuff, I think like a big thing for the Lakers last year was defensive effort. They were just so fucking old last year. All their veterans, all their quote-unquote 3-and-D veterans were old as shit last year. This year that's kind of changed with, the signings. They signed a lot of guys that are under the age of 25 years old, so I don't think they have to worry about guys with a motor. These guys are going to be hungry to prove their worth in the league for the next 5 years, because they're going to be coming up on their prime. So they want to prove their value in the league, and they're going to definitely compete their asses off on the defensive end to get minutes to play for the Lakers, which is the marquee franchise in the league. Offensively, also with this team getting younger, I think the tempo will increase. Hopefully the Lakers can get out and push it in the transition like they were doing a lot with Malik Monk. We kind of saw that with Wenyen Gabriel and Stanley Johnson as well. If they're able to do that with Lonnie Walker, Troy Brown, JTA, and Damian Jones, that can really benefit this team offensively. Spacing is still going to be a big issue because they haven't added a marksman from downtown yet. I can only confidently say that this team currently has 2 above average 3-point shooters. That's LeBron and Lonnie Walker. Other than that, everybody is probably below average. So they still definitely need to prioritize spacing. We have to see how the new head coach can make Russell Westbrook gel with this team offensively, because he's not going anywhere anytime soon. A Russ-Kyrie swap is not happening. So we have to pay attention to how well he can make Russ gel and feel comfortable offensively, because Vogel wasn't able to do that last season.